Hello Cancer, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for December for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the standout features to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all the ins and outs particularly relevant to your sign. So as we come into this new month, the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all in the part of your horoscope that's very much to do with practicalities. Now you can be such a brilliant organizer, so if there are things that you need to set in motion or plan for the festive period, the chances are you're really going to be focusing on this very well as we start this month. But there are two big changes as we come into December that you're going to be really pleased about. Neptune has been squaring with Mars across October and December, and I think that this has been amplifying some frustrations or sensitivities or deeply held past injustices in a way which has been quite tricky. Mars in retrograde in the 12th house can stir up a lot of stuff, but that dissipates as we come into this month. Also, Jupiter, the planet of growth, is in the 9th house along with Neptune, which goes direct on the 4th. So if you do in some way want to break out and maybe it's going to be a day away to do some gift shopping, or even being a little bit more adventurous in terms of going further afield, that combination is also uplifting. Now Saturn and Mars have also been dominating us collectively for the last couple of years, and that too eases from the 3rd of December, so that's something to really celebrate. Some of the ideas you've had for your future may have been tempered by the financial reality, which of course we're all grappling with at this time. But as this month goes on, the focus moves much more onto relationships, and I've got some really exciting things to tell you about that. But there is quite a volatile full moon which occurs on the 8th potentially, but a much more positive new moon which occurs on the 23rd. So much to share with you, Cancer, so please stay with me for more. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast. If you order it in year 22, you'll get the rest of that year free. Plus, in my special package, you can get your life roadmap, your character analysis. Having this will help you to understand some of the repetitive patterns that have come up in your existence, perhaps the more challenging ones, but also the ones that give you opportunities. And having a deeper understanding of those can help you to really flourish in this new year. In my special package, you can get 30% off, so please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you already have, thank you so much for your continued support and views. So Cancer, as you come into December, the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all in house 6. But that's Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is brilliant for gathering knowledge, but it also can be excellent for reaching out and communicating to people. So if you're looking for a new job or looking to make some refinements to your everyday schedules, this can be a good time to do so. Now, of course, December is often a part of the year when we're thinking about getting together with people that we care about and having moments of merriment. But I think the general financial headwinds that many of us are faced with this year could see people hunkering down and trying to find more novel ways to make use of their resources. And I think because you can be so good at managing things, particularly in week 2 when the Sun forges a sextile to the rather disciplined energies of Saturn, that can be an excellent time for you just squeezing a bit more out of your budget in a very productive way. But we do have that full moon on the 8th, and it could potentially be a little bit bumpy, particularly for your sign, if I could be so frank. But just before then, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into your opposite sign. So it's asking you, this full moon, that if some energies do come up which do set you back on your heel a little bit, that you use the more detached energies of Mercury in the 7th house to try to exchange views with people, listen to different perspectives, and not be reactive or defensive to the energies of that full moon. And the reason the full moon is so sensitive is that it occurs in house 12. This is the area that's very much to do with our insecurities, where we can feel vulnerable, our fears, but it can also be about hidden enemies. But the moon is combining with Mars. So when the moon and Mars are together, it can be a little bit reactive. And of course, the Mars energy that you've been going through since the end of August has been stirring up quite a lot of things from your past, perhaps legacy issues that you thought had been dealt with, but perhaps there are still some deep roots of some uncomfortable experiences in your life that still need to be worked through. So essentially, this is a full moon that's asking you to get a balance between the more spiritual, psychological, and emotional plane, with the more practical sphere, which is coming through the sun in the sign of Sagittarius. So I feel that if your energy, your emotional drive is a little bit down, the fact that Mars is so close to that moon could make it a bit uncomfortable, and perhaps some stuff's going to come to the surface that may need to be processed and worked through. But Mercury moving into your opposite sign does give you that opportunity to try to hear different viewpoints. Now this is augmented even more on the 10th when Venus moves into the sign of Capricorn. Venus in the 7th house can be very harmonizing. So even if someone's expressed a point of view which has surprised you, or made an observation on your approach which has also not been something you'd expected, what Venus is saying is try to understand why they've expressed this in the way they have, and not, if you can, be too pushed back by the fact that some sensitive information has surfaced. Now, I've already said the Sun's forging that terrific link with Saturn in week 2, and your innate practicality can definitely be of enormous help. But from the 10th through to the 17th, the Sun is in a square with Neptune. So if there are any parts of your situation that you're trying to reform, you can't really be too idealistic about it. You may have to keep your feet very much on terra firma. Neptune can deplete and drain the energy of the Sun. So I think your physical vitality may be rather tender from the 2 weeks of that full moon, and including the Sun square with Neptune. But on the 20th, Jupiter moves back into your sector of success. And this can help you to really set your goals as you make your way to the end of this year, and perhaps set your New Year's resolutions too. Earlier in the month, Jupiter could see you wanting to break out, as I mentioned in the intro. Also, because Saturn and Uranus are no longer in such an attritional right angle, if you have been thinking long term and you're wanting to take some more unique and individualistic pathways ahead, I think Saturn's positive angle with the Sun in week 2 means that you probably have got to the bottom of what your true resources are. So the plans that you make now, particularly with Jupiter moving, are probably ones that are very achievable. On the 21st we have the winter solstice, and the Sun returns to your opposite sign, joining up with Mercury, Venus and Pluto. So the last phase of this month really does accelerate that focus on relationships. So I think the story of this month for you, Cancer, is the full moon is going to push something uncomfortable into the open. It may be you who's going to speak up and find your voice. It may be someone who confronts you with their perspective of how you approach things. But thereafter, the energy developing for you gives you an opportunity, as long as you don't let pride get in the way, with Jupiter squaring up with the Sun on the winter solstice, as we enter cardinal quadrant for the last 13 weeks of the Western tropical astrological year, taking us up to the spring equinox. Jupiter's squaring the Sun, and it also squares the Sun on the new moon on the 23rd. So relationship matters can be improved as long as you can just put to one side any desire to maintain a pride front on a situation, because on the 29th Mercury is going into a retrograde in your sector of relating. So it may be that the discussions that you're having are picking over some important points. Also, Mercury is in a conjunction with Venus as this year comes to a close. So despite the retrograde, there could be some kind of reprise or reconnection that actually can be positive. Venus also conjoins with Pluto as the year comes to a close. If you're a solo crab at the start of this month, but there is someone that you're really interested in, by the end of this month, I think there's a great opportunity to really connect closely with them. Then again, in ongoing relationships, Venus's combination with Pluto asks us to look at who holds the power, the traction. And that may be something that also can be very revealing, because Pluto can be about motives, and sometimes those motives can be disguised. But I think Cancerian people, whatever your personal situation, I feel that your connection to others comes much more sharply into focus later this month. And if in the past your way of dealing with conflict has been to withdraw and just basically retreat and protect yourself and build your defense, totally understandable with your sign. But Mars on that moon is pushing you to be more vulnerable about what you're unhappy about, but also allowing other people to express the things they've been holding. And by the end of this month, if you're really open to this process, there can be a lot more interaction. The air can be cleared, or you may decide that the relationship has really run its course and there's no option but to move on as you go into the new year. Now, on Christmas Day itself, the moon is in the sign of Aquarius. It's quite deep, but it is forging a lovely link with Jupiter. Jupiter in the 10th house can see that more protective leader side of your nature to the fore. Perhaps you're going to give someone a last minute gift or a last minute invite, which can bring you some uplift, but also bring them some uplift too. But your leadership credentials are definitely boosted on Christmas Day this year, but I hope you have a lovely time. If you are on your own and not by choice, you'll be definitely in my thoughts. But as you come into the new year, I wish you all the best for 2023. If you've yet to check out your deep dive year 2023 forecast, please see the link beneath this video for more.